Young people face a world of problems today and often don't know where to turn. Many believe that mentoring is a way to keep them pointed in the right direction. Joining me today are three people who have taken on the task of mentoring and changing the lives of many young people. Philip Banks, president of 100 Black Men of America, which founded the all-boys Eagle Academy School. We should note that's a New York chapter. Beverly Bond is an activist and philanthropist and also the founder of Black Girls Rocks, a nonprofit that serves to empower young women. She can scratch too. We'll get into that in just a minute. And Bill Strickland, president and CEO of Manchester Bidwell Corporation, which founded the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild in 1968 to provide training to the youth in Pittsburgh. I welcome you all, greatly appreciate it. Mr. Strickland, let me start with you because you've been doing this a mighty long time.
40 years.
The idea of mentoring is something I think that was years ago almost a given.
Right.
You knew that you mentored young people. In some way, somehow we lost our way in doing that. Talk to me about this, what seems to be, thankfully, a reemergence of people involving themselves with young people.
Well, I've committed myself to this work because I myself was mentored by a public school teacher who found that I had value, I had possibilities. So I'm living out the example autobiographically of someone who said that I had value in spite of what the school system said, in spite of what the streets taught me. He helped me get into the University of Pittsburgh as a probationary student. I graduated from Pitt with honors. I'm now a trustee of the University of Pittsburgh. And I was the commencement speaker, and I got up in front of 13,000 people and said, don't give up on the poor kids. They might end up being the commencement speaker someday. People are a function of role models. You have to have positive images in front of you so you know what to emulate. And the degradation of the streets and poverty and drugs have destroyed those opportunities for kids to see positive role models.
Beverly Bond, we should also note that sometimes it only takes one person, literally, to change your entire life. You've been able to touch a huge number of young girls to empower them not only with the love and the knowledge of music and talk to us about what you do, but also the confidence of going forward and doing and believing what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think the statement in itself, Black Girls Rock, is something that needed to be said and something that we all needed to hear, not just little girls, but all women of color, because it wasn't something that we were used to hearing, used to seeing. The messages in media were not telling us that. So it was just, to me, the statement itself was like an affirmation. I originally was going to just do a t-shirt line, and I was like, nah, this is way bigger than just something for me. This is something for all of us. This is something that needs to be said.
And you know what's unique in the industry that you have made a name for yourself in the music industry, and particularly the slice of it that you do, DJing, is truly an old boys male network. You've been able to not only knock down barriers, but mentor young women to say, hey, even though it's not our world yet, there is room for you in this world.
Absolutely, and I think that, you know, I think women's voices need to be, we definitely need to represent music. I think that a lack of women as far as rappers and DJs, I think that has a lot, it contributes to just this lopsided imagery of women. So, you know, we need to be there.
Philip Banks, talk to me a bit about, obviously 100 Black Men mentor on many levels across the country nationally with the national efforts as well as local chapters. But Eagle Academy, founded for all boys, is interesting in the uniqueness in the sense of not only was it to give them an academic environment that maybe is better suited than having the little girls in the hallway all the time and chasing them, but it was also the idea of teaching them manhood.
Right, that's what we do at the Eagle Academy, and we understand that teaching them leadership and character development is what we focus on. There are 7 communities here in the city of New York that populate over 70% of this New York prison population, and we've committed to put a school in each one of those particular communities. The uniqueness of our school, it is a public school, but we have the youngsters going to school 6 days a week, but the mentoring is the uniqueness of the school. We believe they'll be what they see.
Mr. Banks, how do we get out of the cliche nature of what we've fallen into, the idea of each one teach one, they will be what they see, et cetera, et cetera? How do we take it from that to actually a move of action?
Well, you have to get involved. And obviously, a lot of people who don't get involved really don't recognize the crisis that is happening in our community.
And it is a crisis.
And
let us say that out loud.
Absolutely.
And it's necessary for, as you said, there needs to be a clarion call. I fully agree with that, because too many people in our community, and I think it should come from our community.
Yes.
I don't think that we can always wait for someone else to step up and do what the men and other people in our community should be doing.
Bill Strickland, talk about the indelible mark mentoring leaves, not to the one who mentors, but to the mentee. The idea that it can, as I stated earlier, not only shape your life, but really make you who you are for the rest of your life.
When mentorship is done correctly, it is a transference of values and a worldview. It's not just be good because being good is right. It's a way of thinking, it's a way of scaling your values, it's a way of seeing yourself, and it sets up the relationship of responsibility. What these folks do is to transfer responsibility for the next group, and consequently that gets transferred, and that's how you break historical patterns. It's through subsequent generations. It's not just one group, it's the experience that gets translated for many groups.
And Beverly, I know you have seen throughout the young women, or throughout the years with the young women that you work with, the idea that they do take this from the time you meet them to when they're done with your program and go on through life. I'm 50 years old almost, a year shy of it, and my mentor, I still call to this day, and I'm a grown man, and say, should I do this? What do you think?
Right.
And it does stay with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the girls we mentor in our program are between the ages of 12 and 17, and I think that's a really vulnerable age for them. I think it's also an age where people are not necessarily paying attention to the kids anymore. You know what I mean? I think so. I think that group really needs to help. They are in statistics. They're at high risk for all kinds of behavioral and sexual behavior problems. And I think it's important to go in there and intervene and let those girls be kids. Let them be girls, but also teach them and let them know that they are going to be the future curators of our culture.
Too often we spend too much time with the regurgitation of the need to form another group, another think tank, another grant that's given to think about it. When we have these things that work, why not replicate them?
Right.
We've got to actualize these words into real life experiences so that we can create human beings who can make a permanent contribution in these communities.
Indeed. I thank you all for joining us today and salute you for all of what you've been doing. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after this.